Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah and I'm filming outside today. We're going to do things a little differently. I'm going to try not to hit my table that you're on. It's a wrought iron table and it's old and jiggly, so we're going to try not to move you too much. But I thought I would go over some arcs that I have read recently. 3 of them, like usual, or how I've been trying to do recently. 3 of them at once. So we're going to talk about Abeni Song by P. Jelly Clark, Ruined, which is a graphic novel by Sarah Vaughn, Sarah Winifred Searle, and Nikki Smith, and Night of the Living Queers, which is edited by Shelley Page and Alex Brown. Now, the sound may be a little low. I will try to turn it up, but I really wanted to film outside, and it is a beautiful day, as you can see. We'll start with Abeni Song, because I'm gonna be honest, it's been a hot minute since I read it. This is by P. Jelly Clark. This is a middle grade fantasy novel about Abeni who sets out on a quest to save her family and her village after they are taken by storm women and the goat mask man. And this is a really fun story. Leading up to the release of this, P. Jelly was posting on his Instagram his inspirations for the book, and one of the things he posted was, screenshots from Ghibli, because it's a big thing. Everybody loves Ghibli, and you can really feel that inspiration in this. There was tons of other things. I think he had almost like 10 or 12 posts. It was a lot, but you could really feel the whimsy and the magic of like a Ghibli inspiration in this. My favorite things about this were there's a few scenes with talking pots. I really liked those. And there is a blanket that does not get along with Abeni. Think the rug from Aladdin. It would like make little fists with its tassels. Pow, pow, pow. The blanket would do that. Abeni had a blanket that would like put her in bed or make her lay down or something. After Abeni's family is taken, she ends up staying with a witch, and that Auntie Asla, she calls her Auntie. She stays with her auntie, who is like the witch guardian of the village, or she was, and she wasn't able to guard them from the storm women, but she did save Abeni. And there is where Abeni, meets the talking pots and the magic blanket, and eventually sets out on a quest to save her village, like I said. Fantastic middle grade. If you like middle grade fantasy, this is the one I would recommend. This is definitely you should read this. It was really fun, really whimsical, really magical. She meets spirits as she travels and becomes friends with them, and they travel with her. There is a tiger spirit girl and a hedgehog spirit, and they are just so unique and their voices are so distinct, but they made such a good team. I'm really excited. It does set itself up well for a sequel book, and at the end of the book they get a new party member who's going to quest with them, and I'm very excited to see his evolution and his story, because he had a very sad entry into it, but a little bit of a happier ending for him. And like I said, I definitely recommend picking this up if it's a story that interests you, if it's a genre you're into. Middle grade fantasy readers, is a definite read. The next one I read, we'll age up. So we'll do the YA short story collection, and that is Night of the Living Queers. This is I think there were 13 stories. It's all stories set around Halloween, and each of the characters, fit under the queer umbrella in some way, shape, or form. And it's just them either, finding their way, finding romance, getting trapped in a horror situation. They're all slightly horrific, horror leaning in some way. Most of them were just fun or a good horror moment. For the most part, I think I really enjoyed it. There were, however, 2 stories that I didn't like. One story, and this is my biggest complaint with this collection, which I hope is going to be resolved in the finished copy. It's possible that it simply wasn't in the e-arc that I was reading. One story needed trigger warnings. It has intense on-page hate crime depiction. A young man is beaten, and we see that happen. It was a little much, frankly. I didn't care for that. And then the second story that I didn't like had trigger warnings. In fact, it was the only story in the book to include trigger warnings. And I still didn't like the way that one panned out. The ending on it was death of a parent, and I'm not great with that anyway. So my complaint from this is that if they're going to put trigger warnings on one story, it should have been on all of the stories. And I think the inclusion of the hate crime story, it was a story by Kosoko Jackson, I believe is his name. That story, I think that's something that genuinely, when it's targeted at YA audience of these marginalized groups, we should have a warning on that story for those groups, because a lot of these kids are going to be, you know, victims of that sort of thing, or they're going to be terrified of it, and not in the way that you want to be scared of at Halloween. You know, these are supposed to be fun scares, not I'm gonna lay in bed at night and cry and be anxious kind of scares. So I don't know if this is a should you read. I think you should read with trepidation. For the most part, these stories were great, but those two stories, because there's only 13, two of them being that intense and heavy, it was enough to turn me off. I can't give a like hearty yes, read this one. Go into it with care, we'll say that. I think that's a good way to put that one. The final one I want to talk about is Ruined. This is, like I said, by Sarah Vaughn, Sarah Winifred Searle, and Nikki Smith, and this is a Regency graphic novel. This is a marriage of convenience. Our two main characters, who I don't remember their names because it's been a couple weeks, they get married because his estate is failing because of the actions of his late brother and father, and she is ruined. There is scandal attached to her name, and it is exactly what you would expect with that kind of a story. It is almost cozy, and the artwork is a little strange to get used to at first, especially if you're used to more elaborate artwork or more cartoony. But once you're, you know, used to the style, I found it really beautiful. It's very simplistic in its style, but it does a good job conveying the imagery and the story that it's telling. There is nudity on page, male and female nudity. So this is a older to adult, probably rated, because there is on-page sex scenes and on-page nudity. Again, like I said, male and female. So go into it with that knowledge, right? What else can I say about this? Oh, there is also, I wiggled you. There is also side stories. There are a lot of fantastic side characters. This is also a queer normative Regency graphic novel. I should throw that in there. The sister of our main hero is toying almost with her sexuality. She is falling in love with another lady, and they are part of a society of queer women. And there is a young black woman who is the heroine's lady's maid, I think is the term. But she is also saving money to become a seamstress and to open her own tailor shop. And by the end of the graphic novel, you know, she takes steps in that direction. And she is well known and respected and gets commissioned from people to make beautiful ball gowns. And she does, you know, amazing amazing embroidery and such on the gowns. So there's a lot of little side stories I found really helped enhance the plot for me. I did see some reviews. Some people did not care for those, so your mileage may vary, but I really liked it. If there was to be a sequel in the series, I would 1000% pick it up. This is one I'm actually maybe going to buy digitally for a friend of mine because I think they'll like it. And yes, 1000% would pick up a sequel. I really liked this. So this is a definite, I think you should read if you like graphic novels, if you like adult graphic novels or romance in your graphic novels. So that is it for these 3 arcs. I actually have 3 more to talk about. That's going to be another video. And hopefully both of these, the sound is good. Like I said, I just couldn't resist this beautiful day. It's so nice. It's like the perfect weather right now in Tennessee. 77 degrees. I can sit out in my t-shirt and my shorts and just enjoy myself. But thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you're interested in any of these, if you're going to pick them up. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.